Hey, it's me, the editor of all the videos on YouTube. This is a bit different from this weirdos content usually. It's basically just an audiobook based off of some novel some really weird kid at my school wrote. It's pretty gay. Not that there's anything wrong with that. And also, I mean really weird as in like they have herpes and they want to touch freshmen. Not necessarily in a sexual way, just a little too touchy and they don't like it. And even when they tell them to stop, they still go. It's not great. It's pretty bad. Allegedly, but it's outside of school hours, so you can't do anything. I'm just freedom of speech, Whipkey. Do you see me now? Okay, I'm going. Okay, sorry. But it's just an audiobook. It's a pretty bollocks book. It's really boring, and I'm honestly just reading it because my friends told me to. So if you're not in the know, if you don't know what this book is, you don't go to my school, you can go ahead and just uh, you don't have to watch this. You don't have to listen to it because there's nothing really to watch. It's just me reading a book. It's literally just me reading and going on random tangents the whole time. But if you want to listen, go ahead. I can't stop you. But if you don't like it, I have some other videos that I'm sure you enjoy. Maybe on my Twitch. Yeah, you can look at my Twitch. Go look at my Twitch and my PayPal in the Twitch bio. You should donate to that too. But other than that, just enjoy the book or don't because it's kind of bad. And yeah, you get the gist. I hope you enjoy. No more. Without further ado, here is Hand in Hand. There's gonna be some loud parts though, so be careful. Headphone warning. Yo 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 yo. Today we're gonna be doing a audiobook of Hand in Hand, aka To Love You. Let's get started. The air was, actually, no, I don't like doing voiceover. We're gonna do the regular one. And we're back to our regular mic. All right, we're gonna do this normally, and if there's something that needs emphasis, we'll turn it back on. Okay. Shrink this, and let's start reading. I'm gonna keep reading until I don't feel like reading anymore. All right, let's get it. Chapter 1. The air was crisp and cool, carrying the scent of pine and the distant hum of morning traffic. Kian felt the warmth of the early sun against his face as he stood on the front steps of his small brick house. The world around him was a vibrant chorus of sounds, each note painting a picture in his mind. The rustling of leaves, that's me, whispered secrets from the trees, and the gentle breeze brushed through his blonde hair. Reminds me of someone that I used to know. Sorry. Which always seemed to defy gravity, sticking up in unruly tufts. Kian reached out with his hand, finding the smooth, worn railing of that guided him down the steps. His cane tapped lightly in front of him, a rhythmic beat that matched the cadence of his steps. He was short, barely reaching the height of most adults, but his presence was unmistakable. There was a quiet confidence in the way he moved, as if the world was his to explore, even without the gift of sight. Today was like any other morning, yet it carried the promise of something new. Kian could just feel it in the air, in the way the birds sang just a little more cheerfully and how the neighborhood seemed to hum with anticipation. He paused for a moment, tilting his head slightly as he listened to the distant sounds of the city waking up to him. The world was a symphony of echoes, each one telling a story, each one a note in the music of life. Kian's hand traced the familiar path along the fence as he stepped. Fuck! Kian's hand traced the familiar path along the fence as he walked. His steps sure and steady, his mind was sharp, his other senses heightened, painting a vivid picture of the world around him. He knew the sidewalk beneath his feet like an old friend, the slight dip where the pavement had cracked, the scent of Miss Dalton's rose garden just ahead, and the sound of children laughing as they played in the nearby park. As he neared the corner, Kian paused again, feeling the energy of the day swell around him. Something was different today. Something was coming. Coming. He could sense it. A ripple in the air, a change in the usual rhythm of his morning. His heart quickened, not with fear, but with excitement. Kian lived for the unknown, the thrill of discovery, even if it came in small, unexpected ways. He took a deep breath, the scent of blooming flowers and freshly cut grass filling his lungs. The world might be dark to him, but it was alive. That's actually a misconception. Blind people, they don't actually see pure black, they see nothing at all. That makes as much sense as it sounds, but it's true. Well, where was I? But it was alive, brimming with possibilities. Kian smiled to himself, feeling the warmth of the sun on his face once more. Whatever lay ahead, he was ready. After all, he had learned long ago that the world has its own way of revealing itself if you just listened closely. And today, the world was whispering his name. Chapter 2. The school hallways buzzed with the usual morning chaos, lockers slamming, laughter echoing, and the hurried footsteps of students rushing to class. Kian moved through the crowd with practiced ease, his cane tapping a steady rhythm on the polished floor, the familiar cacophony. Is that how you say it? Hold on.
Cacophony.
Yeah, I was right. Cacophony was a maze he'd navigated countless times, but today the noise felt heavier, laced with a tension he couldn't quite place. Hey, look who it is! A voice sneered from somewhere nearby. Kian's grip tightened on his cane, but he kept moving forward, his chin up and his pace steady. Heard he's got superpowers. Oh, excuse me. Another voice chimed in, dripping with sarcasm. Like, what is he, Daredevil or something? The laughter that followed was sharp, cutting through the usual hum of the hallway. Kian's heart pounded in his chest, but he didn't falter. He knew better than to give them a reaction. Instead, he focused on the familiar markers, the echo of his cane against the lockers, the scent of the cafeteria food wafting through the air, and the slight curve of the hallway just before the signs wing. But the voices followed him, closer now, their taunts growing louder. "Where are you going, short stuff?" one of them called out. "Need a guide dog?" Kian felt a sharp nudge against his shoulder, causing him to stumble. He caught himself quickly, planting his feet firmly on the ground. His cane wavered for just a moment before he steadied it, the rubber tip tapping the floor as he resumed his path. He knew the boys, Troy and his gang. They were always looking for an easy target, and today, it seemed, Kian was the chosen one. "Careful, you might trip," Troy jeered, pushing him again, this time harder. Kian's cane clattered to the floor, the sound echoing in the hallway like a gunshot. Gunshot in a school? Oh, jeez. Touchy subject. Is that, am I allowed to say that? That's probably fine, right? Probably. The laughter that erupted around him was a cruel, mocking chorus. Kian's heart raced as he bent down, his hands sweeping across the floor in search of his cane. The world around him felt suddenly vast and overwhelming, the usual sounds and smells blurred by the rising tide of panic. Sounds and smells. That seems familiar also. You guys will see that in the upcoming video. Anyways, never mind. No, it won't. I changed the words. Never mind. Forget I said anything. Oops. Troy's came again. Fuck. Oops. Hey guys, I'm gonna kill myself soon. Oops. Troy's came again. I swear to God.
Oops. Troy's voice came again.
I finally got it! This time, right next to him. Kian heard the distinctive sound of his cane being kicked across the floor, the hollow clatter as it skidded out of reach. The laughter swelled, and Kian's chest tightened. He wanted to scream, to lash out, but he knew it wouldn't help. It would only make things worse. He could hear Troy and his friends moving away, their laughter fading into the distance as they lost interest. Seems like an assault, but it's okay, I guess. The hallway seemed quieter now, as if the world itself has paused, waiting for him to make his next move. Kian took a deep breath, forcing himself to stay calm. He didn't need his cane to know where he was. He heard the faint chatter of his classmates ahead, the squeak of the sneakers on the polished floor, and the hum of the fluorescent lights overhead. Slowly, he stood up, his hands outstretched as he began to move forward. But before he could take more than a few steps, he felt a gentle touch on his arm. He flinched, instinctively pulling back. "Hey, it's okay. I've got your cane," a soft voice said. Kian froze for a moment, then slowly turned towards the voice. It was familiar, comforting even. "Sophia?" Oh, God. Sorry. "If you know, you know," he asked, recognizing the girl from his English class. "Yeah," she replied, placing the cane gently in his hand. "Are you all right?" Kian nodded, his grip tightening around his cane. "I'm fine," he lied, trying to keep his voice steady. "They're jerks," Sophia said quietly. "Don't let them get to you." He didn't respond right away, but a small, grateful smile tugged at the corner of his mouth. "Thanks," he said, his voice softer now. Sophia walked with him the rest of the way to class, her presence a small comfort in the otherwise hostile environment. The only thing hostile was whatever. Kian knew this wouldn't be the last time Troy and his gang tried to mess with him, but for now, he was grateful for the small victory of making it to class without letting them see him break. Oh, Jesus Christ. Things are getting real. Chapter 3. The special needs classroom was a sanctuary, a place where Kian could let his guard down, even just a little. The room was quieter than the rest of the school, filled with a gentle hum of voices and the occasional rustle of papers. It was a space where the world slowed down, where the chaos of the outside world seemed distant and irrelevant. Kian sat at his usual spot, his hands resting on the smooth, cold surface of the desk. Sophia was beside him, her presence a constant source of comfort. The room was familiar, its sounds and smells as reliable as the sunrise. This is fire. Oh, jeez. Ew. The faint scent of chalk dust and the soft creak of the teacher's chair as she shifted her weight. What timeline? What time is this? Like, what year is it? I haven't seen a chalkboard since fucking middle school. And even then, it was like in one classroom. That was it. Faint scent of chalk dust and the soft creak of the teacher's chair as she shifted her weight. The murmur of his classmates, each voice distinct and known. But today, there was something different in the air. Something new. No, I'm just kidding. Kian could sense it even before the teacher. Miss Harper began speaking. There was an energy in the classroom. A quiet anticipation that made the hairs on the back of his neck stand up. "Good morning, everyone," Miss Harper said, her voice warm and welcoming. "We have a new student joining us today." The room fell into a hush, the usual chatter dying down as all attention turned to the front of the class. Kian listened intently, his head tilted slightly as he picked up on the subtle sounds of someone shifting nervously near the door. "This is Riley," Miss Harper continued, her voice carrying out a note of encouragement. "He's new to our school, so let's make him all feel welcome." Kian heard the soft tap of shoes against the floor as the new student moved closer. His senses were on high alert, trying to piece together the details. The light, deliberate steps, the faint scent of shampoo, and a hint of something else. An earthy, clean fragrance that was unfamiliar, yet intriguing. Yeah, judging by who wrote this, a clean fragrance is definitely unfamiliar. Riley spoke, his voice clear and resonant despite its slight tremor. "Hi, everyone," he said, and Kian's breath caught in his throat. His voice was unlike any Kian had ever heard before. It was smooth and rich, like a melody carried on the wind, but with an underlying strength that hinted at something deeper. Kian flinched involuntarily. Kian flinched involuntarily. The beauty of it catching him off guard. He had always experienced the world through sound, but this was different. This voice seemed to cut through the noise of the world, creating a space where everything faded away. "Riley is hard of hearing," Miss Harper explained, her tone gentle as she addressed the class. "He communicates through sign language, but he's also learned to speak verbally and read lips. I want everyone to be patient and supportive as we all get to know each other." Kian's Kian's mind was spinning, still caught in the echo of Riley's voice. He had never imagined that something so simple could be so powerful. His throbbing boner erupted from within his pants. Nah, I'm just kidding. That's not in the book. I'm just making sure you're paying attention. Beside him, Sophia nudged his arms lightly, a silent gesture that brought him back to the present. "Can you believe that voice?" she whispered, her tone filled with awe. Kian nodded slightly, still too stunned to speak. The rest of the class seemed to fade into the background as Riley was guided to a seat, which Kian noticed was right across from him. Oh my gosh, what is wrong? Holy shit, what is wrong with me? He could feel Riley's presence, a subtle shift in the air as he sat down. Miss Harper resumed the lesson, her voice a steady rhythm in the background, but Kian's focus was elsewhere. He couldn't stop thinking about Riley, the way his voice had resonated with him in a way nothing else ever had. As the lesson continued, Kian tried to concentrate, but his mind kept drifting back to that moment. He wanted to speak to Riley, to learn more about him, but the words were tangled up in his throat. Instead, he listened closely, picking up on the subtle sounds Riley made as he adjusted his seat, the soft sigh of his breath, and the quiet, almost imperceptible rustle of clothes. The rustle of his clothes. Sorry. The class seemed to drag on forever. But you know what's not being dragged? The low, deeper fade. The minutes stretching out as Kian's thoughts whirled. When the bell finally rang, seemingly the end of the period, Kian hesitated, unsure of what to do next. But before he could make up his mind, Riley's voice broke through his thoughts once again. "Hey, Kian, right? How the fuck does he know that?" Oh, maybe the teacher told him to sit down in front of Kian, and he was like, "Oh, who's Kian?" And he's like, "Oh, Kian's right there." Yeah, probably what happened off, off camera. Nothing's on camera. "Could someone get me a large bottle of vodka, please, and thank you?" Riley asked. His voice is beautiful and melodic. Melodic? Alright, we're looking this one up too. Sorry, hold on. Quick tangent.
Melodic.
Melodic. Okay. Melodic as before, but now tinged with a hint of nervousness. Kian turned his head slightly, his heart racing. "Yeah," he replied, his voice soft and tentative. "I've been told about you," Riley continued, his tone friendly. "Miss Harper mentioned that you're really good with sound. I think that's amazing." Kian felt his cheeks warm, a mixture of embarrassment and pride swelling in his chest. "Thanks," he mumbled, unsure of what else to say. Riley leaned forward slightly, his green eyes, though... if this is being told by the perspective of... wait, actually, it's not even told from the perspective... It's a narrator. It's a narrator. It's not... Oh, you know what? This is... Okay, never mind. Scratch that. Sorry. Riley leaned forward slightly, his green eyes, though unseen by Kian, sparkling with curiosity. "Maybe we can help each other out," he suggested. "You can teach me about signs, and I can show you some sign language. How does that sound?" Kian's breath caught again. This time, at the at the kindness in Riley's offer. It was if Riley understood him in a way no one else had before. And that thought alone sent a shiver of excitement down his spine. "Yeah," Kian replied, his voice a little stronger now. "I'd like that." Sophia, who had been quietly observing, gave Kian a knowing smile. Why the fuck would Sophia give Kian a smile? He can't see it. "Sounds like the start of a good friendship," she whispered, giving his arm a gentle squeeze. Kian smiled back. How the fuck would he know he was smiling back? A sense of warmth spreading through him. He could already tell that Riley's presence was going to change things. And for the first time in a long while, that thought didn't scare him. Instead, it filled him with cautious hope. As they gathered their things and prepared to head to the next class, Kian couldn't help but think that despite all the challenges, maybe, just maybe, school was about to become a little brighter. Yeah, blind people can see light still. I feel like it's important that you guys know this. Here, I can look this up right now, actually. What do blind people see? It's like this. It's kind of like this. Many experiences vary from seeing light and shadow to blurry shapes and colors, while those blind from birth might perceive nothing visual as black, So are they? I guess it depends. Requires prior sight. Oh, yeah, they still perceive light. So, So is Kian blind from? Okay, so here's the thing. Quick tangent. Skip ahead a little bit if you don't want to hear this. But if Kian was blind from birth, they would not be put in a public. Hold on, I need to look this up. Also, sorry. Do people blind from birth go to regular school? What? They go to a regular ass school if they're blind from birth? What the fuck? Dude, what the hell? That's crazy. I mean, good on them, but that's crazy, dude. Oh, wait. Oh, do blind people... No, from birth. Because I think... Yo. That's crazy. Okay, okay. I didn't know public schools were I wasn't familiar with their game. Okay. Sorry about that. We're going to continue. Chapter 4. The front door closed behind Kian with a familiar, reassuring click. Shutting out the outside world and all its uncertainties, he let out a deep breath. He hadn't realized he'd been holding it. Feeling the tension in his shoulders begin to ease, home was a safer space, a place where the sounds were soft and familiar, where he could let go of the day's burdens. Kian slipped off his shoes, feeling the cool wooden floor beneath his feet as he walked slowly down the hallway. Hold on. Back to the thing. They really did the research, huh? It's kind of a W. The hallway was quiet, save for the gentle hum of the refrigerator in the kitchen, and the distant ticking of the clock in the living room. He had trailed his fingers along the wall, his other hand holding his cane loosely by his side, though he didn't need it here. He knew every inch of the house like the back of his hand. As he entered the living room, the scent of lavender greeted him, his mom's favorite candle always burning on the coffee table. The soft fabric of the couch beckoned, and he sank into it with a sigh, letting the day's events wash over him. Riley's voice echoed in his mind. That beautiful sound has taken him by surprise in the classroom. Keane had been thinking about it all day, trying to understand why it had affected him so deeply. The memory of it made his heart flutter, a strange, unfamiliar sensation that he couldn't quite shake. Kian? Is that you? His mom's voice called from the kitchen, warm and inviting. Yeah, Mom, it's me, he replied, his voice carrying through the quiet house. She appeared in the doorway a moment later. How the fuck? That's a weird way to put it, considering Kian's blind! My bad, sorry. Her soft footsteps, familiar and comforting, Kian could hear this. Oh, okay. I didn't read ahead. Hear the smile in her voice. I was about to lose it. How's school today? How's school today? Kian hesitated, trying to find the right words. It was different, he said finally. Hold on, I got a burp. Different good or different bad? She asked, concern creeping onto her tone as she came back to sit beside him on the couch. Both, I guess, Kian admitted. Leaning back into the cushions, he told her about Troy and his gang, how they pushed him around in the hallway, and how Sophia had come to his aid. His mom listened, quietly, her hand resting gently on his shoulder, a silent source of strength. Those boys, they should understand, she said softly, her voice tinged with sadness. But I'm glad Sophia was there for you. Yeah, me too, Kian murmured. Then, after a pause, he added, but there was something else. Something good. His mom tilted her head slightly, curiosity evident in the silence. There's a new student in my class, Kian continued. His name is Riley. He's deaf, but he can talk. They never said he was deaf. They never said he said he had hearing issues. Hearing issues. Let's straighten that. If he is deaf, which I'm sure it was the intention, let's say that before, huh? But he can talk, and Mom, his voice, hard to explain, but it was like nothing I've ever heard before. It was beautiful. His mom's hand squeezed his shoulder gently. It sounds like he made quite an impression on you, she said, her voice soft and understanding. Kia nodded, even though she couldn't see it. What do you mean she couldn't see it? Is she not right there? Yeah, he did. We talked a little after class. He seems really nice. He even offered to teach me some sign language. That's wonderful, kid, his mom said, a note of pride in her voice, I'll say. It sounds like you made a new friend. Maybe, Keen replied, a small smile tugging at the corner of his mouth. I hope so. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Imagine if the mom just left and he sat in comfortable silence for a while like, his mom was playing with a rose toy or something. My bad. The warmth of the house wrapping around them like a protective cocoon, Keen felt the weight of the day slowly lift, replaced by the comforting presence of home. Here, he didn't have to worry about the bullies at school or the uncertainty of new friendships. Oh, the bullies at school or the uncertainty of new friendships. Here, he could just be himself. After a while, his mom stood up, her footsteps soft as she moved toward the kitchen. I'm making your favorite dinner tonight, she said, her voice light and cheerful. Spaghetti and meatballs. That's a W. Kian's stomach rumbled in response, a grin spreading across his face. That sounds perfect. As she bustled about in the kitchen, Kian leaned back on the couch, his thoughts drifting once more to Riley. The day had been a mix of high and lows, but as he sat there, listening to familiar sounds of his mom cooking, he felt a flicker of hope. Riley's arrival had been unexpected, but maybe that's what Kian needed. That was what Kian needed. A change. Something new to break up the monotony. Looking up what is this?
Monotony.
You know what? I knew that word, but okay, so I realized I knew the word after I already plugged it in. Monotony. Of the school days that had begun to blur together, and perhaps, just perhaps, perchance, this new friendship could be the start of something special. For now, though, Kian was content to be home, where the world was gentle and kind, where he could find peace in the echoes of the day's events. The future was uncertain, but in this moment, surrounded by the comforts of home, Kian felt ready to face whatever came next. We can do a couple more chapters, I think. Chapter 5. Riley's house was nestled at the end of a quiet street, its white picket fence and neat garden giving it a cozy, inviting feel. The late afternoon sun cast long shadows across the lawn, and the air inside was filled with the soft rustle of leaves in the breeze. Bars. Inside, the house was warm and bright, a reflection of the vibrant energy Riley seemed to carry with him. This is the other guy. Riley sat cross-legged on his bed, his fingers deftly moving as he organized a small collection of vinyl records spread out about him. Why the fuck does he have vinyl records? He can't hear anything. If he's deaf, make it clear! Okay? The walls of his room were a collage of posters, colorful prints, and framed photographs, snapshots of moments frozen in time. A guitar rested in one corner, and a desk cluttered with sketchbooks and art supplies occupied another. The room felt lived in, full of personality, much like Riley himself. He hummed softly as he worked, the sound barely audible but comforting in the quiet of the room. For Riley, music was a way to connect with the world in a way that words couldn't always capture. Even though he couldn't hear the melodies in a traditional sense, he felt them in his bones, the vibration and rhythms resonating with him on a deeper level. His mama taught him how to feel music from a young age, placing his small hands on the speakers to let vibrations ripple through him. That was how he learned to love the deep bass of a drum beat, the soft strum of a guitar, the way a voice could soar and dip with emotion. That's really dumb. I mean, I get it, but it's dumb. And I hate you. Yes, you, the viewer. I hate you. No, I'm kidding. I love you guys. Thank you. Music was a language he understood intuitively. One that bridged the gap between the silence he lived in and the world of the sounds beyond it. As Riley carefully placed the record on the turntable, 2 turntables and a microphone, he glanced at the clock on his nightstand. Kian was supposed to be coming over soon. Their first time hanging out outside of school, Riley felt a mix of excitement and horniness. Making sure you're listening. Relax. Excitement and nervousness flutter in his chest. Meeting new people was always a little daunting, but there was something about Kian that made Riley feel at ease. Like they were on the same wavelength. Even if they were different in many ways. Just as he finished setting up the record, Riley heard a faint vibration of a knock at the front door. How the fuck? What? Dude, okay, okay, I'm gonna say this right now. I could deal with it before. I can't deal with it at this point. When you lose one sense, your other senses are not heightened. I can look this up right now. Enhanced? Wait, what? No, the fuck it's not. No. Phenomenon. Dude, that's real? Strengthen the remaining senses. Okay. Okay. It is true, I guess. I guess it is true. It is true that your senses get heightened. But how on earth do you feel? No, it says heard. You see, heard? Is he deaf or not? How do you... It's felt. The faint vibrate. Felt. I would understand. Get the fuck out of here, dash. I don't want to play Terraria with you. Go fuck yourself. How do you hear if you're deaf? And the faint vibration, for that matter. It's felt the faint vibration, and that is a stretch. Okay? Why am I getting so... Okay, I'm sorry. We're gonna continue. My bad. He heard the faint vibration of a knock at the front door. A sensation he had learned to recognize over the years. Bullshit. He smiled to himself, quickly getting up to head downstairs. His mom was already at the door, greeting Kian and his mom with a warm smile. Riley hung back for a moment, watching as his mom signed a quick hello to Kian's mom, who responded with a polite wave. Kian's smile is a little shy, but genuine. Oh, sorry. Kian!
Kid, Riley's upstairs in his room.
Riley's mom said, her voice gentle as she gestured toward the staircase. Feel free to make yourself at home.
Thank you, Mrs. Brooks.
Okay, I'm not going to do the voices, Kian's mom replied. Okay, maybe I will.
I'll pick him up in a couple of hours.
Kian nodded. Gripping his cane lightly as he followed Riley's mom's directions, Riley stepped forward, his own nerves easing as he saw Kian enter the house. He quickly signed a hello to Kian's mom, then added, "Come on, my room's this way." Kian tilted his head slightly, a small smile playing on his lips as he followed Riley up the stairs. The sounds and scents of Riley's house were different from his home. There's a faint hint of vanilla in the air, maybe from a candle, and the soft thrum of music playing in the background. When they reached Riley's room, Kian paused in the doorway, taking in the space. "Your room is cold," he said after a moment, his voice quiet but sincere. "I know," Riley replied, speaking and signing at the same time out of habit. He led Kian over to the bed where the records were still spread out. "I was just sorting through some of my vinyls. Do you like music?" Kian's face lit up, his smile widening. "Yeah, I love it. I can't play anything, but I like to listen." Riley grinned, pleased to know that they shared a common interest. "Music is kind of my thing," he said, gesturing to the turntables and the records. Deaf person having music be their thing. What are you, Beethoven? You fucking idiot! I hate you! Sorry. I think that was the wind. He said, yeah. "I've been collecting vinyls and CDs for a while, actually. Each one has a different feel, you know? You actually feel the vibrations if you put your hand on the speaker." Kian reached out, his fingers brushing lightly against the edge of the turntable. He listened closely, the faint hum of the record player filling his ears. "What's playing now?" Riley glanced at the spinning record. Then back at Kian. It's a David Bowie album. My mom introduced me to his music when I was little. She said his songs have a kind of magic to them. Kian nodded, his expression thoughtful. I think I could feel that. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. So the music isn't playing. Oh. Man, I need to stop, I need to read ahead. For Riley, it was a rare moment of connection, where he didn't have to explain or justify anything. Kian just understood, and that was enough. After a few minutes, Riley turned to Kian, his curiosity getting the better of him. So, you know a bit about me, but I don't know much about you. What's your thing, Kian? What do you like to do? Kian hesitated, his fingers tracing the outline of his penis. One of his records, making sure you're paying attention. I don't know if I have a thing, he admitted. His voice quiet. I like listening to the world, I guess. I like how different places sound. I don't really need to see them to know what they're like. Riley nodded. Intrigued. That's really cool. I wish I could experience a world like that. Kian smiled softly. I guess we both see the world differently in our own ways. According to the story, you don't see anything at all, Kian. Yeah, Riley agreed, his voice thoughtful. But maybe that's what makes it interesting. The conversation drifted from topic to topic, flowing naturally as they shared stories about school, their families, and the little things that made them who they were. Kian talked about his mom's spaghetti and meatballs, which Riley made him promise to bring one over one day. Whoa! Which Riley made him promise to bring over one day. Riley shared his love of reading, telling Kian about some of his favorites. The afternoon passed quickly, the initial nervousness forgotten as they settled into an easy friendship. At one point, Riley paused, his expression growing serious. Kian, can I ask you something? Sure, Kian replied, sensing the shift in Riley's tone. Do you ever feel different? Like, not just because of, being blind, but just different from everyone else? Kian thought for a moment, then nodded. Yeah, I do a lot, actually. It's like everyone else has a map of the world, and mine's just different. Not worse, just not the same. Riley looked relieved, as if Kian had put into words something he had been struggling to express. I feel that way too. I mean, being deaf is part of it, but it's more than that too. Sometimes I just feel out of sync with the world, like I'm on a different frequency. Kian turned his head slightly, his brow furrowing, and thought, maybe that's why we get along, he said softly. We're both kind of out of sync with the world, and maybe that's okay. Yeah, Riley said, a slow smile spreading across his face. Maybe it is. As the sun began to dip below the horizon, causing a warm, golden glow through the window, Riley realized he didn't feel so different anymore. In Kian, he had found someone who understood him in a way that few others did. They were both navigating their own worlds, but somehow they had found a way to walk the path together. And in that moment, Riley knew this was the beginning of something special. Something that didn't need words or sound to be understood. It was just there. In the quiet companionship and shared understanding that made everything else seem just a little bit easier to bear. This is kind of good. I'm not going to lie. I might end it here. It's been 30 minutes. That's a long time to be listening to this. But honestly, that's pretty good. Yeah, that's so far. Okay, so we're in chapter 6. There is 50 fucking chapters. Ready? 50 fucking chapters. Why? Sorry, that's kind of spoiling it. Let me go back. But yeah, 50 fucking chapters. 50 chapters. Why? Why is there 50 chapters? This shit does not need 50 chapters. 228 pages long. This shit could have been a short and sweet story about two disabled kids, like, being gay together or something. It could have been just that. It could have been short and sweet. Instead, you had to drag it for 50 chapters. 50 chapters. Why? I don't fucking want to do this. And we're back with the newest installment, or with the, we're continuing here from chapter 6, and we're gonna just go. Anyways, the following days at school felt different for both Keen and Riley. The hallways, once a battleground for Keen, seemed a little less intimidating with Riley by his side. They navigated the corridors together, Riley's steady presence a comforting anchor in the chaos of school life. Keen and Riley quickly fell into a routine, spending most of their free time together. Keen introduced Riley to his favorite quiet sports around the school, places where the sounds were softer, more manageable. Riley, in return, shared his love for art, showing Keen how to feel the textures of his drawings and paintings, letting him experience the world through touch and imagination. Now, see, me personally, that seems like the most boring thing I have ever heard. Feel my painting! Wow, feels like paint! Okay. One afternoon, they sat under the shade of a large oak tree in the school courtyard. Riley handed Keen a sketchbook. Okay. Here, he said, his voice gentle. I drew something for you. Keen's fingers traced the cover before carefully opening it. Inside was a drawing of two of them sitting together, shown by the familiar frowns of school, represented by soft flowing lines and gentle curves. Hey, if it's a sketchbook, how the fuck are you gonna feel the pencil lines, huh? Okay. Keen's eyes widened in awe as he ran his fingers over the page, feeling the texture of the pencil strokes. Ladies and gentlemen, I want you to grab a piece of paper right now. Right now. I want you to grab a piece of paper right now and draw something. Draw anything with a pencil. And if you can feel exactly what you drew with your eyes closed, I will start an OnlyFans as soon as January 13th is here. Because that's when I turn 18. I will do it. I swear to God. If you can do it without cheating, I swear to God. Okay, no. I don't swear. I don't, because I don't want to. Unless y'all pay for it. No, I'm playing. Alright, anyways. Yeah, whatever, blah, 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 blah. It's beautiful, Riley, Keen said, his voice filled with gratitude. Thank you. Thank you. Thank you. Riley smiled, pleased that his friend appreciated the gesture. I wanted to capture how it feels when we're together, he explained. The way the world seems a little quieter, a little more in sync. Keen nodded, his heart swelling with appreciation. You did an amazing job. I can feel it. As they continued to talk, Riley's phone buzzed in his pocket. He pulled it out and checked the screen. A small smile burst right across his face. Hey, Keen, would you like to come over to my house this weekend? My mom's making her famous chocolate chip cookies. I bet they're not even that famous. Keen's face lit up at the invitation. I'd love to. Your mom's cookies sound amazing. Great, Riley replied, his excitement palpable. Wow, what a word. We can hang out, listen to some records, and maybe even draw a bit. The rest of the week flew by, anticipation building for the weekend. When Saturday finally arrived, Keen found himself standing outside Riley's house, a mixture of excitement and nerves swirling in his chest. He took a deep breath. He knocked on the door, the familiar vibrations grounding him. Riley opened the door with a broad smile. Hey, Keen, come on in. Keen stepped inside, the warm, inviting scent of freshly baked cookies filling the air. Riley's mom greeted him with a friendly wave, her hands dusted with flour. Welcome, Keen, she said as her voice warmed with hers. She said as her voice as warm as the house. Make yourself at home. Riley led Keen to the living room, where a plate of cookies sat on the coffee table. Soft strains of a jazz record played in the background, the music weaving a gentle tapestry of sound throughout the room. Keen felt a sense of peace settle over him as he sat down on the couch. Help yourself, Riley said, offering Kian a cookie. Mom makes the best cookies in the world. Kian took a bite, the rich, gooey chocolate melting in his mouth. Wow, these are amazing, he said, savoring the flavoring. Savor the flavor. Savoring the flavor. Riley grinned, pleased with Kian's reaction. I told you! They spent the afternoon talking, laughing, and enjoying each other's company. Riley showed Kian more of his drawings. Yo, can you stop showing this dude drawings? Can you stop? He can't fucking see them. Maybe write him a song or something he can actually hear and experience. He can't fucking see it. And I know damn well he can't feel it either. Each one a window into his unique perspective of the world. Kian shared stories about the different sounds he encountered, describing them in vivid detail. I heard a bird, and it went like this. It went like this. Look, you went. It went like that, Riley. As the sun began to set, casting a warm golden glow through the windows, Riley's mom called them to the kitchen for dinner. They sat around the table, the atmosphere filled with the comforting sounds of clinking silverware and soft conversation. After dinner, Riley and Kian retreated back to the living room where Riley picked up his guitar. I want to play something for you. There you go! Finally, that's exactly what I said earlier, he said, his voice tinged with a mix of excitement and nervousness. Kian nodded, eager to hear what Riley had prepared. As Riley began to play, the room filled with the gentle strumming of the guitar, each note resonating with a deep, soulful quality. Kian closed his eyes, letting the music wash over him, feeling the vibrations in the air and the emotion in Riley's playing. When the song ended, Kian opened his eyes, a soft smile on his lips. That was beautiful, Riley, he said, his voice filled with admiration. You're really talented. Riley blushed, a shy smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. Thanks, Kian. That means a lot. They sat in comfortable silence for a while. Forgot I had this. Nice. A shy smile tugging at the corners of his mouth. Oh shit, fuck. Yeah, the sound, blah, blah, blah. Bond between them was going stronger with each shared moment. In Riley, Kian had found a friend who understood him in a way few others did. And in Kian, Riley had found someone who saw beyond the surface, who appreciated the depth and beauty of this world. As the evening drew to a close, Kian felt a sense of contentment settle over him. For the first time in a long while, he felt truly understood and accepted. And as he left Riley's house that night, he knew that this was the beginning of a beautiful friendship. One that would continue to grow and flourish, bridging the gap between two unique worlds. Alright. We finished chapter 6. Now it's on to chapter 7. Chapter 6. On to chapter 7. 6. 7. Riley lay in his bed, staring up at the ceiling as the moonlight filtered through the curtains. The house was quiet. The only sound was the faint ticking of the clock at his nightstand. He had always loved the silliness of the night. I thought that said the silliness. I'm such a fucking idiot. Stillness of the night. The way it allowed his thoughts to wander freely. Tonight, though, his thoughts were anything but still. They were a whirlwind, all centered around one person. Kian. Over the past few weeks, Riley and Kian had become inseparable. They spent most of their time together exploring each other's bodies. Ha! You fucking idiot says exploring each other's worlds! Ah, gotcha. Sharing their dreams and supporting each other through the challenges they faced. Riley had never felt such a deep connection with anyone before, and it both thrilled and terrified him. As he lay there, Riley replayed the moments they had shared in his mind. The way Kian's face lit up when he talked about his favorite sounds, the warmth of his smile, Riley found himself smiling too, his heart swelling with a mix of joy and confusion. That's a fancy way of saying he's gay. He rolled onto his side, hugging his pillow tightly. Yep, he's gay. There was something different about the way he felt when he was with Kian. Definitely gay. Something that went beyond friendship. He's so gay, you guys. It was a feeling that made his heart race and his thoughts scatter. he wants the touch, the warm embrace of a man. A feeling that left him breathless and yearning for more. Oh my God, he's so gay. He wants penis so unbelievably badly. Unless these boys are in middle school, in which case, or no, unless these boys are not old enough, in which case they just want a nice, wholesome friendship. Riley had always been attuned to the subtleties? Yeah, subtleties of human emotion, able to read the smallest changes in expression and body language. Oh, I just burped. But when it came to his own feelings, he often found himself at a loss. He never experienced anything like this before, and he wasn't sure what to do with the intensity of his emotions. He thought back to the day they had spent at his house, the way Kian had looked at him with such... The way Kian had looked at him. Kian had looked? Kian had looked. Could someone write this down? Kian's blind, right? Could someone write this down? The way Kian had looked at him with such genuine admiration after he played the guitar, Riley had felt a sense of warmth. Yeah. Spread through him, then, a sense of belonging that he hadn't known he craved. He had realized in that moment that his feelings for Kian went beyond friendship, that there was something deeper, something that he couldn't quite put into words. I'll do it for you. You ready? Follow this, boys and girls. That's right. We are all about inclusivity here at the Leaf YouTube channel. Riley sat up, running a hand through his hair as he tried to make sense of it all. He knew he had to talk to someone to get perspective on what he was feeling, but who could he turn to? His mom was always supportive, but this was something he needed to figure out on his own first. The next day at school, Riley found it hard to concentrate. His thoughts kept drifting to Kian, who sat beside him in their special needs class. Suddenly, they were interrupted by a loud noise. No, I'm kidding. Completely unaware of the turmoil in Riley's mind. They worked together on our project, Kian's fingers deftly tracing the lines Riley had drawn. His touch light and sure. Riley, is something on your mind? Kian asked, suddenly his voice breaking through Riley's thoughts. Riley blinked, looking over at Kian. What do you mean? You seem distracted, Kian said, a small frown creasing on his forehead. Is everything okay? Riley hesitated, his heart pounding in his chest. This was a chance to say something, to open up about what he was feeling, but the words stuck in his throat, fear and uncertainty holding him back. Yeah, I'm fine, Riley said finally, forcing a smile. Just thinking about stuff. Kian's frown deepened, but he didn't press further. Instead, he reached out and squeezed Riley's hand. A comforting gesture that sent a jolt of warmth through Riley's entire body. Including right here, am I right? I'm such an idiot. The rest of the day passed in a blur. Riley's mind a whirlwind of emotions. By the time he got home, he felt exhausted, both physically and mentally. He collapsed on his bed, staring up at the ceiling once more. He knew he couldn't keep this to himself forever. He needed to talk to someone, to get some clarity on what he was feeling. Taking a deep breath, Riley reached for his phone and sent a quick text to his mom asking if they could talk. A few minutes later, his mom knocked gently on the door before entering. She sat down on the edge of the bed, her eyes filled with concern. "What's on your mind, sweetheart?" she asked softly. Riley, of course, couldn't hear her because he was looking the other way. Nah, I'm kidding. Riley took a deep breath, his heart pounding. "Mom, I need to talk to you about something important." About something important. His mom nodded, her expression encouraging. "I'm listening." Riley hesitated for a moment, then the words came tumbling out. I think I have feelings for Kian, more than just friendship feelings, and I don't know what to do about it." His mom's eyes softened as she reached out to take his hand. "It's okay to have these feelings, Riley," she said gently. "It's natural to feel confused and unsure, especially when it comes to matters of the heart. But what matters most is how you feel inside. Do these feelings make you happy?" Riley nodded slowly. "Yeah, they do. Being with Kian makes me happy, but I'm scared, Mom. I don't know how he feels. and I don't want to ruin our friendship. That's understandable, his mom said, giving his hand a reassuring squeeze. But sometimes, taking a risk is worth it. If Kian is as good a friend as he seems, he'll appreciate your honesty, no matter what. And who knows, he might feel the same way. Riley felt a wave of relief wash over him, the weight of his emotions just feeling a little lighter. Thanks, Mom. I needed to hear that. His mom smiled, leaning in to kiss his forehead. Anytime, sweetheart. Just remember, whatever happens, you have people who love and support you. Riley nodded, feeling a renewed sense of courage. He knew he had to talk to Kian, to share his feelings, and see where things went. It was a scary prospect, but he trusted that their bond was strong enough to weather whatever came next. As he lay in bed that night, Riley felt a sense of peace settle over him. He didn't have all the answers, but he knew he was ready to face his feelings head on, and no matter what happened, he was grateful to have Kian in his life. A friend who had shown him the beauty of connection, the power of understanding, and the courage to embrace the unknown. I'm going to be honest. As inconsistent as some of the story is, it's not bad. It is not bad. Am I crazy for thinking this? It's not that bad. Because the person who wrote this, they're pretty weird, right? They're weird as shit. And they're a little too weird, but this ain't bad, right? I'm separating the art from the artist here. Except I'm making fun of it, because it also kind of sucks at the same time, you know what I mean? But it's not that bad. In all seriousness, it's not that bad so far. It might get worse. It might drag on for too long, because once again, we're on page... We are... Like... What is it? What is the math? We're just... Okay, Oh, it's, 2... Well, we're like... Oh, wait. Percentage, here we go. We are... What? No, I meant the other way. Okay, we're 12% through this. We're not even close. Okay. Sorry, let's get back to it. Chapter 8. The weekend arrived with an air of anticipation hanging over Riley. He had spent the past few days gathering his courage, determined to talk to Kian about his feelings. It was a daunting task, but he knew he couldn't keep it bottled up any longer. Riley invited Kian over to his house again, hoping that the familiar and comforting environment would make the conversation easier. As he waited for Kian to arrive, Riley paced in his room, his mind racing with the thoughts of how to start the conversation. What if Kian didn't feel the same way? What if this changed everything between them? A knock on the door broke through the thoughts, and Riley took a deep breath before heading downstairs to let Kian in. When he opened the door, Kian stood there with a bright smile, his cane tapping lightly against the porch. "Hey, Riley," Kian said, his voice filled with warmth. "Thanks for inviting me over again." "Of course," Riley replied, stepping aside to let Kian in. "Come on in!" They made their way to the living room, where Riley had set out some snacks and drinks. The soft hum of a jazz record played in the background, adding a calming ambiance to the... Hold on, getting a text on Discord. Oh, it's just bollocks. Okay. Where were we? Adding to the calming ambiance of the room. Kian settled onto the couch, his fingers lightly tapping to the armrest of the rhythm with the music. Riley sat down beside him, his heart pounding in his chest. He took a deep breath, reminding himself of his mom's words. It was okay to have these feelings. It was okay to be honest. "Kian," Riley began, his voice trembling slightly. "There's something I need to talk to you about." Kian turned his head slightly in the wrong direction, his expression curious. "What is it, Riley?" Riley swallowed hard. Hold on. Gathering his thoughts. We've become really close friends over the past few weeks, and I value our friendship a lot, but there's something more I've been feeling, something I need to share with you. Kian's brow furrowed in confusion. "What do you mean?" Riley took a deep breath, his hands trembling. "I think I have feelings for you, Kian. Romantic feelings. And I know this might come as a surprise, but I couldn't keep it to myself any longer. I needed to be honest with you." For a moment, there was only silence. but actually Kian was screaming at the top of his lungs, and Riley couldn't hear it. Just kidding. For a moment, there was only silence, the gentle hum of the record filling the room. Riley's heart raced, fear and uncertainty gripping him. Then Kian... Not the fucking... Hold on. Not this guy. And then Kian reached out and took Riley's hand, his touch gentle and reassuring. "Riley," Kian said softly, his voice filled with warmth. "I'm glad you told me. And to be honest, I've been feeling something similar. I don't know how to say it, but I've been drawn to you in a way that's more than just friendship." Riley's eyes widened in surprise and relief. "You have?" Kian nodded, a small smile playing on his lips. "Yeah, I have. There's something about you, Riley. The way you understand me, the way we connect, it's special. And I've been scared of ruining what we have, but hearing you say this makes me feel less alone." A wave of relief and happiness washed over Riley as he squeezed Kian's hand. "I was so scared about telling you and how you might react." "I understand," Kian replied, his smile growing. "But I'm glad you did, because now we can figure this out together." Riley felt a sense of peace settle over him, the fear and uncertainty melting away. They sat there, holding hands, letting music fill the space between them. It was a moment of unspoken understanding, a silent promise of their journey they were about to embark on together. As the evening went on, they talked about their feelings, their hopes, their fears. It was a conversation filled with honesty and vulnerability, each word bringing them closer. They laughed, they shared stories, they dreamed about what the future might hold. When it was time for Kian to leave, Riley walked through the door, their hands still intertwined. "Thank you for being honest with me, Riley," Kian said, his voice filled with gratitude. "I'm looking forward to seeing where this takes us." "Me too," Riley replied, his heart swelling with affection. "We'll take it one step at a time. Together. Hand in hand." Kian smiled, giving Riley hands one last squeeze before letting go. "Good night, Riley." "Good night, Kian," Riley said softly, watching as Kian walked down the porch and into the night, right into a bear trap. As Riley closed the door, he felt a sense of excitement and contentment. He had taken a risk, and it had brought him closer to Kian in ways he hadn't imagined. The journey ahead was uncertain, but he knew that with Kian by his side, he was ready to face whatever came their way. As he lay in bed that night, Riley smiled to himself, feeling warmth in his heart that he knew was just the beginning of something beautiful. That chapter was kind of lame. Chapter 9. Holy shit, we're flying through this, huh? It's been 3 chapters. It's only been 20 minutes. The next few days at school felt different, in the best way possible. For both Riley and Kian, they had always shared a special bond, but now there was an added layer of intimacy and understanding. Their conversations were more profound, their smiles more genuine, and their time together more cherished. During lunch, they sat in their usual spot in the courtyard, under the shade of their favorite oak tree. The school buzzed with sounds of students, but in their little corner of the world, it felt like it was just 2 of them. Riley unpacked his lunch, handing Kian his favorite sandwich. "Thanks," Kian said, taking the sandwich and giving Riley a warm smile. "You always remember what I like." Riley said, "Kian, I'm over here. You're looking the wrong way." No, I'm kidding. Riley grinned. "Of course. I want to make sure you're happy." They ate in comfortable silence for a while, enjoying the simplicity of each other's company. Riley watched as Kian's Kian's fingers moved gracefully, unwrapping the sandwich and taking a bite. There was a serenity in Kian's movement that Riley found incredibly soothing. Uh-oh. I'm not liking where this is going. After lunch, they headed to their special needs class. Sophia greeted them with her usual bubbly enthusiasm. Yeah. Bubbly is, definitely the right way to describe it. But there was a glint in her eye as she looked between Riley and Kian. "You two seem extra happy," she observed, a knowing smile on her lips. Riley felt his cheeks warm, but he smiled back. "Yeah, things are good." Sophia nodded, her smile widening. "I'm glad to hear that. You both deserve to be happy." As class settled in, their teacher, Miss Jenkins, the other special needs teacher, walked in with a bright smile. "Good afternoon, everyone. Today we're going to work on a group project. We're going to pair up and create something to represent how you see the world. Riley and Kian exchange glances. Excited glances. They loved working on creative projects together, each bringing their unique perspective to the table. They quickly gathered their materials and found a quiet corner to work in. However, create something that combines both sound and visuals, Riley suggested, his eyes sparkling with excitement. We can show how we each experience the world differently, but still find common ground. Kian nodded, his fingers already moving to feel the different textures of the materials they had gathered. I love that idea. Let's do it! They spent the next hour working in perfect harmony, Riley sketching and describing the images, while Kian added elements that represented different sounds he experienced daily. It was a beautiful blend of their worlds, a testament to their deep connection. As they worked, Riley couldn't help but steal glances at Kian, his heart swelling with affection. The way Kian's face lit up with concentration, the gentle furrow of his brow, and the soft smile that graced his lips. It all made Riley fall a little more in love with him. That's cute. I'm getting I'm very thirsty. It has nothing to do with the story. I'm just physically not in the weird way. Like, I need some water. Someone bring me some water. When they finished, they stepped back to admire their creation. Kian missed the canvas completely and painted on the floor, and Riley couldn't hear the teacher screaming at them. No, I'm just kidding. It was a stunning piece of art filled with vibrant colors and intricate textures that told the story of their unique perspectives. Miss James walked over, her eyes widening with appreciation. "This is incredible," she said, her voice filled with awe. "You both did an amazing job." "Thanks," Riley replied, his heart swelling with pride. "We wanted to show how our different experiences come together to create something beautiful." Miss James nodded, her eyes filled with admiration. "You succeeded. This is a wonderful representation of your bond." What the fuck did I just say? This is a wonderful representation of your bond. Get it together. I'm sorry. Sorry, I have tuberculosis also. The rest of the class marveled at their projects. At their project. Dude, what is wrong with me? And Riley and Kian received a wave of compliments and congratulations. It was a moment of pure joy, a testament to their growing relationship. As the school day came to an end, Riley and Kian walked home together, their hands brushing against each other with every step. The sun was beginning to set, casting a warm golden glow over everything. "Kian," Riley said softly, breaking the comfortable silence between them. "Yeah," Kian replied, turning his head slightly to listen. "I'm really glad we talked about our feelings," Riley continued, his voice filled with sincerity. "I feel closer to you than ever." Kian smiled, his hand finding Riley's and giving it a gentle squeeze. "Me too, Riley. I'm so grateful for you. You make my world brighter." Riley's heart swelled with love and gratitude. You make mine more beautiful. I can't wait to see where this journey takes us." And they walked the rest of the way in comfortable silence, hand in hand. Holy shit! Oh, they said it! They said it! Hold on, I have to highlight this. Holy shit. Holy shit, they said it. They said the thing! There it is! Hold on. Can I pin this? Hold on. Save the keep. Alright. I think if I just go... No, not there. If I go here... Yes! And I can just find it again. Alright, nice. Pin. There we go. Riley felt a sense of peace settle over him. The future was still uncertain, but with Kian by his side, he knew he could face anything together. Oh my god. Dude, I'm still way too sick for this, I swear. As sun just dipped below the horizon, casting a soft twilight over the world, Riley felt a profound sense of hope and happiness. This was just the beginning of their story, a beautiful journey filled with love, understanding, and the promise of endless possibilities. Chapter 10. The weeks that followed felt like a beautiful dream for Riley and Kian. Their bond grew stronger with each passing day, and their feelings for each other deepened in ways they hadn't expected. They spent almost all their Ha! They spent almost all their spare time together, learning more about each other and discovering new layers of their connection. One crisp autumn afternoon, Riley invited Kian to his favorite spot by the lake, a serene place surrounded by towering trees and the gentle sound of water lapping against the shore. Riley had always found solace there and wanted to share it with Kian. Oh. As they arrived, Kian took a deep breath, savoring the fresh scent of pine and the sound of birds chirping in the distance. Riley guided him to a large flat rock that overlooked the lake, and they sat down together, their legs dangling over the edge. "This place is beautiful, Riley," Kian said softly, his voice filled with awe. "I can feel the peace here. What if it was just like the most disgusting, like polluted lake? Like, hold on. What if it was like this? Yeah, what if it literally looked like this? No, what if it looked like this? What if it was this? Then what? Ah, I can just feel the beauty here. I can I can feel the beauty here. "I thought you'd like it," Riley replied, smiling as he watched the sunlight dance on the water's surface. "It's my favorite place to think and just be." They sat in comfortable silence for a while, the gentle breeze ruffling their hair. Riley's heart swelled with affection as he glanced at Kane, his thoughts a chaotic mess of emotions. He wanted to share everything with Kane. I said Kane twice. Kian! His thoughts a chaotic mess of emotions. He wanted to share everything with Kian. His hopes, his dreams, and most of all, his love. "Kian," Riley said softly, breaking the silence, "there's something I've been wanting to tell you." Kian turned his head slightly, his expression curious. "What is it, Riley?" Riley took a deep breath, his heart pounding in his chest. "I've been thinking a lot about us and how much you mean to me, and I've realized that I'm falling in love with you." Kian's eyes widened, his breath catching on his throat for a moment. There was only the sound of a wind and the gentle ripple of the water. Then, a smile spread across Kian's face, his cheek flushing with happiness. "I've been feeling the same way." "No shit, you've said this already. You said this earlier. You said this weeks ago. I feel like it goes without saying." I mean, well, okay, I guess someone has to be the one to say I love you, but like, dude, you could have just said this like, dude, just say, "Hey, I love you." And if they say I love you too, then you don't jump into the dirty, disgusting lake. I'm not even gonna read this part. I'm not even gonna read it. I don't care. I love you too. You know, fine. I love you too, Riley. Riley's heart soared, and without thinking, he leaned in, his eyes locking onto Kian's. Kian's breath hitched as he tilted his head slightly, sensing what was coming. Their lips met in a soft, tender kiss. A perfect moment of connection that sent shivers down Riley's spine. The world seemed to fade away, leaving only the two of them, wrapped in each other's warmth. Riley's hand gently cupped Kian's cheek, his thumb brushing against the soft skin. Kian's fingers intertwined with Riley's, holding on as if afraid to let go. When they finally pulled apart, both of them were breathless, their foreheads resting on each other's. Riley's eyes were filled with love and wonder, and Kian's smile was brighter than the sun. "That was amazing," Riley whispered, his voice filled with awe. Kian nodded, his own smile mirroring Riley's. It was perfect. They sat there for a while longer, wrapped in the warmth of their newfound love. Their nake? Can someone
kill me?
Where was I? The lake shimmered in the golden light of the setting sun, and the world seemed to hold its breath, as if acknowledging the significance of their moment. As the sun dipped below the horizon, casting a soft twilight over the world, Riley and Kian stood up, their hands still clasped together. They walked back home, In comfortable silence, the air around them filled with a sense of peace and contentment. When they reached Kian's house, they stood on the porch for a moment, reluctant to say goodbye. Riley squeezed Kian's hand, his heart swelling with love and gratitude. "I'll see you tomorrow," Riley said softly, his eyes filled with promise. Kian smiled, leaning in for one last kiss. "I can't wait." As Riley walked home, his heart felt light. His mind filled with thoughts of Kian. Almost like Kian again. He knew that their journey was just beginning, and he couldn't wait to see where it would take them. With Kian by his side, he felt ready to face whatever came their way, knowing that their love would guide them through. And as the stars began to twinkle in the night sky, Riley whispered a silent thank you to the universe for bringing Kian into his life, for giving him love that was as beautiful and enduring, that was as beautiful and enduring as the stars themselves. I thought it said endearing, that's why I got a little angry. Wait a second, that was chapter 9, no? Or was that chapter 10? Chapter 8? Chapter 9? Oh, okay, yeah, no, it was chapter 10, sorry. Alright, I think this is a good place to end off. We will come back for this some other time. Thank you so much for listening. And I will see all of you in the next installment of Hand in Hand, aka To Be Loved, aka I don't know what the fuck this shit's called. Hopefully, things are more consistent going forward. And hopefully we can see more development in the next. Holy shit. Look at how many pages in the next 40 chapters. Hopefully we can see more development in the next 40 chapters. Alright. That'll do it for this installment. Hope you enjoyed. Shout out to Zoe's dad. And as always, whenever you see, and as always, what's my catchphrase? I don't think I have one. As always,